In this video, we're going to add changes to the signup.php file to process the extra fields that we have added to the signup form. Okay, so let's go ahead and open the signup form. I've got it right there. So let's start with the error messages. So the messages that we might get for the new fields are missing first name, missing last name, missing phone number or invalid phone number, as well as missing the gender or the comments. Okay, so let's create a few variables for errors. So the first one is going to be missing first name, and we're going to write something like please enter your first name. Okay, and then we're going to have missing last name. Okay, so I'm going to pause the video and just write all the other errors to save time. Okay. All right, now we've got all the error messages. Now we're going to filter, sanitize the extra fields. Okay, so let's start with the first name. So I'm just going to copy the code we used for the username. Okay, and just customize that for the first name. So the error is missing first name. And the variable we're going to create here for the first name, we're going to call it first name. Okay, so that's for the first name. Let's do the same thing for the last name. And the variable is going to be last name. All right. All right, now let's move to the phone number. So that's going to be straight after password number 2. Okay. Right there. So first we're going to check if it's missing, and then we're going to check if it's invalid. Okay, so to check if it's missing, we're going to use the empty function, which will take as a parameter the post element corresponding to the phone number. And it's got a name phone number. Okay, so if that's empty, we're going to add to our errors variable the error message corresponding to missing phone number, which is this one. Now we're going to check if we've got an invalid phone number. So we're going to use an else if statement. Okay, so we're going to use the function preg match. Okay, so this function is going to take a couple of parameters. It's going to take as a first parameter the regex corresponding to a non-digit, and the second parameter is going to be the value of our phone number. So to find the regex, you can go to Google and just type PHP regex cheat sheet, something like this. Okay, and if you go to that website, you'll find a summary of the PHP common regex examples. So this one corresponds to a character that is not a digit. Okay, so let's go ahead and use that one. So to use the regex, we need to place everything inside quotes and forward slashes. Okay, just like that. So the second parameter is going to be the phone number. Okay. So if there is a match with a non-digit, this will return true. Okay. So if that's the case, we're going to add to our errors variable the error corresponding to an invalid phone number. All right. Else, we're going to get the phone number and store it inside a variable phone number like this. Okay, it's still a string, so you're going to use the same parameter we used for strings. Okay. So now let's move to the gender. Let's add a comment right there for the phone number. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing here. We're going to check if the gender is missing. Okay, using the empty function. The gender is going to correspond to the element inside the post array corresponding to gender. Okay, that's the name that we have given to that input. Okay, so if that's the case, we're going to add to the errors variable the error corresponding to missing gender, like that. Else, we're going to define a variable gender where we're going to store the value of the gender. All right, and then finally, we're going to move to the comments, which we called more information. So again, we're going to follow the same process. If it's missing, then we're going to add to the errors variable missing information. Otherwise, we're going to define a variable that we can call more information. Okay, and that's where we're going to store the value submitted by the user. All right. Well, actually, unlike the gender, we will need to sanitize the comments because they are typed by the user. Okay, the gender, on the other hand, is just selected by the user, so it's going to be either male or female, so we don't have to sanitize it. So let's sanitize the comments using the same way we did with all the other text inputs. Okay. All right, now we will need to prepare the new variables for the query and then update the query to accommodate the extra fields. Okay, so let's go to the section where we prepare the variables for the queries or for the query. So let's start with the first name. Okay, then the last name. Then the telephone number, and then the comments. Okay, again, regarding the gender, we don't need to do that because it's just a selection by the user and they don't type anything. Okay, now let's go to the query and update the query where we insert the user details to the table. So you're going to need to add all those extra fields. So right after activation, let's have the first name. Okay, like that. And then the last name. Then the phone number. And the gender. And more information. Okay, now regarding the values, so you're going to have the first name, last name, phone number, gender, and finally more information. Okay, so let's save. Let's test our code. First, let's go to the database on the users table and remove this record. Okay, so that we can use the same email address for testing. Okay, so before going ahead, let's just have a quick look at this line. Okay, one extra parenthesis there. Okay, that's better. So I'm just going to pause the video and input details to save time. Okay, let's submit this. All right, so now we need to go to our inbox. And let's click on the activation link. And our account now has been activated. So let's have a quick look at the database or the table and make sure that everything is in there. Okay, so we've got the gender, the phone number, comments, okay, and we come back to the profile picture later. All right, so for now, we have made all the changes we need for the sign up login process, okay. Later on, we'll come back to the profile picture and see how we're going to be uploading a profile picture, okay, and also we'll see how to amend it and so on. And that's what we're going to do in the next video.